Be a visionary with debonair, a playa from the Himalayas, iconic, not ironic, and become a night owl tonight, where like-minded members get together at the Night Owl Lounge, enjoying extra content, backstage hangouts, exclusive interviews by going to RealDealMedia.tv. Again, that's RealDealMedia.tv. Join tonight.
Fuck off! You need to get off! Fuck off! Fuck off! Fuck off! Fuck off!
What do you mean fuck off?
Fuck off!
You need to get off the fucking train, mate! There's fucking kids about, man!
Right, go for it, let's go.
What the fuck, mate? Get off the fucking train! What the fuck has happened? Go put up your hands!
So there's no arrest of this old lady here. Look! Here, look! Behind, look! Look how frail she is! I get resistance, alright?
Keep going that way, keep going that way, keep going that way. Stop obstructing officers, stop obstructing officers. 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 Keep moving. Keep moving. Stop obstructing. You're obstructing officers. Keep moving. Keep moving.
There she is, she's tiny. She's about 90.
Keep going. Stop obstructing us, please. Sorry, you're obstructing us. You're on the way, you're obstructing us. You're obstructing us.
People here, they're telling others to get out. This is our land, this is our country. And I would ask them, where did you come from? You are called English. English means a mixture of Angles and Saxons. Angles came from Scandinavia, Saxons came from Germany. So in other words, you're also immigrants, right? The native people of these lands are Celts, who were driven westwards. The Irish and the Welsh are actually the native people of these lands. So imagine if a Welshman came to from some English people in the city, central London, he goes, get lost, go back to your country. You don't belong here. This is my island. This is my land. You have taken all our fields, all our corn, and all our sunshine, all clouds and rain. You have taken all of that. Get back. Go back to your lands. Where would they go back? The question is, where would they go back? Likewise, this rhetoric, this xenophobic rhetoric is very unacademic, very uneducated, and very ill-informed. Unfortunately, it is causing a lot of hate, a lot of destruction and murders and mass murder.
Tonight, a night update. Get into the Islamo-fascist, aka words, UK, learn ways of the British, also ways of the replacement party. Forseti, RDM Media, Correspondent, great. Once in a lifetime, danger, brace yourself. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to a late night update. I am your very late host here, Dean Ryan. As I am late is in the title, but it's also in the feeling as I have experienced a real Islamic invasion of tech problems of my own here. As you know, when you talk about these topics, they seem to find the gremlins of life that really, really muck up the system. Yeah, we're going to be getting into a swarm of things and everything that's swarming in the UK, because UK is the doorway to the West, as the culture follows, as the trends, and as the new visitors follow too, but also as the ramping up of a war that's upcoming, or as the headlines would say in the urine-soaked and lamestream media, may happen with Iran. We don't know. We're going to flip a coin, depending who you ask. So we're going to be talking to Forseti. We just spoke with him moments ago, as he's all the way in the far east of Europe. That is in some ungodknown time zone that cannot be matched right with us Americans over here. So it is a real, just a real topsy-turvy kind of event here. But it's very important because right now in the United Kingdom, I have been hearing about, and we all have been hearing about the migrant crises in England. We've all experienced it here in the United States, but this is unprecedented of what you're about to witness here tonight, as a whopping 100,000 plus migrants alone have now made their way into the United Kingdom like nothing ever seen before. You've seen, I showed a little bit of the cold opening there of what transpired on the train the other day when you had the bottomless migrant, the bottomless passenger who, believe it or not, this is just incredible. You saw him, yeah, no trousers, nothing, women and children everywhere, and quite violent. And they withheld him. They put a strain on him, and you wouldn't believe it. The bobbies did not arrest the trouserless passenger, I should say. No, they arrested the men who were doing the right thing, and that's how deep woven the communists have just put their grubby little communist fingers into the United Kingdom, into the British pie over there. Yes, it is that serious. And I'm going to explain it to you tonight of how this is all going to work and how is this going to involve the United States. You can see the mirroring happening between the Commonwealths, but particularly the U.S. and the U.K. right now. It's just unfathomable what has now happened to England, or as we should say, the country formerly known as England. I mean, it is just drastically different. It is racing Canada to have the most radical changeover and radical extreme makeover the West has ever seen in our lifetime. So we're going to be getting into that. I think we have Forseti ready to go. Okay, so, and I want to show you the infamous hotel video too. We're going to try to get to that after this, but let's hear from our very own Real Deal Media specialist over there. He's an insider who, if you're new, he is originally our UK insider. He's now moved into greater lands, into the inner depths of the EU Parliament, highly embedded in giving us the information that you need to know today that you'll probably hear months from now. And for instance, Charles, Prince Charles, dead, but also converted to Islam a long time ago. Kate dead and not looking like Kate, if you know what I mean, just recently, but that's a whole nother story. Let's get into the invasion here. Is the Islamic invasion in the UK is underway, and we're going to now go to Forseti. Here we go. Forseti, welcome back to Late Night Update, and what a time to return, and a very important time as the UK is seeing an onslaught of what has been described by many as an Islamic invasion. Tell us, where are we now in this onslaught attack now?
Let's just work things down from the top. So not only is it a mass invasion of people, like boat people coming across the channel on dinghies and being put up in hotels, given welfare and left free to roam, rape and molest little girls, but also now in the key infrastructure of the government. The British Home Office, which is, like I said, key infrastructure of government, they organise, all the bureaucracy. There's roughly 800 to 1,200 devout Muslims working in key places and key offices in the Home Office itself and Whitehall. It's actually getting kind of ridiculous. It's like they are intentionally mass importing their own destruction.
Yeah, I'd say so, Forseti. And, this comes on the heels of something you sent me not that long ago about Sharia Law Council now being a legitimate government position that is now hiring and auditioning, I guess, the proper jihadist that can fulfill a 9-to-5 schedule at this point. I mean, there's all kinds of sectors, but let me ask you this here. Where are they mainly coming from? Is it Iran? Is it Saudi Arabia? Is it Pakistan? Because, Islamic invasion, that's a big tent, is it not?
Let's just get the facts straight. They are all, they're not women and children, they are all fighting age men from shithole Muslim countries. They're from Gaza, they're from Pakistan, they're from the stands, Islamic republics, everywhere. Iran, they're all coming in en masse throughout Europe. They're just walking across the borders. Poland has actually started shooting them on sight when they try to cross the Polish borders. Poland's doing the right thing. They are just shooting them when they get close to the borders. Whereas all the European countries just give them a welcome mat because they want them to come in. They want destabilization. They want them to come in and they want them to attack and rape the native population. And then they call the native population every racist and Istafol when they don't want that to happen.
Now let's just get right into the brass tacks of it, of why. Okay, because this plays into not just the replacement theory. This is the age-old Kalergi plan of the 1920s now coming into fruition. To me, why Starmer's allowing this to happen? Well, on the very low level, it's because they're going to be used as the communist overthrow of the revolution. They're going to be used as the pawns and the guardsmen, and then they'll flush them away later, because this is totally state-sponsored. But is this not a page out of the Zionist Bolshevik Revolution handbook?
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. It's part of the Communist Handbook. It's a key part of the Communist Revolutionary Guide, is that you want to destabilize the local populace. It starts with very, very small things. They want people to stop questioning their thinking. That's what woke was. That was the whole thing. The pronouns. It's a slippery slide, because the whole pronouns thing, people assign pronouns as a subconscious act. So if you're telling people to control subconscious acts, that's just evil. And it goes from that, it goes to the transgenderism thing, and now we've got the mass import of the third world to attack the local population. And then the communists tell the local population they're evil, racist for not wanting the attack to happen.
Right, and what we just saw there is, again, and we showed this to people long ago when it was a hot topic, is the actual communist card-carrying Starmer. Speaking of trannies and tranny lovers all alike, and boy toys and all that, well, here is the communist Clark Kent from hell, the Bolshevik wet dream of yesteryear.
He's
and
also married to a Jew. I don't know if that's relevant or not.
Well, so that's where I'm alluding to. So this now comes at a time where you see Israel trying to sell a war into Iran. We hear reports that they want to get a war into Iran by December. And then we hear reports by the end of August, which would then fulfill the 60-day ceasefire that they have with Iran. And then here we have this Islamic invasion. Call me crazy, Forseti, but I see the dirty Israeli fingerprints behind this whole caboodle, this whole dog and pony show. I think they're behind this because this would justify now the war with Iran, which is the war against Islam, for the greater Israeli project. What say you?
It's fair if you connect them. If the Islamists start en masse attacking people in Europe are going to turn against the Islamists, and then Israel can just go, "Oh, look at us! We're just trying to have a final solution for the Muslim question in the Middle East." They're going to get more people siding with them than they are now.
If the governments of the UK, the US, and the West were truly sincerely concerned about the so-called Muslim problem of the Neanderthals from the Stone Age, then they wouldn't have been installing that in Syria. They wouldn't have been installing that in Iraq, Libya, because all those governments and those leaders of those countries were all, get this, secular. Where do we see a pushback now against Starmer? We know there's a special election coming up. We know the Reform Party with Nigel Farage is picking up steam. I think the UKIP party came out of the woodworks of irrelevance at this point.
Right now, the political atmosphere is pretty much up in the air. Some people, like Nigel and Brexit Party, I worked for them for a short time before I left. I just see them as controlled opposition. They're just containment. What people need to understand is, with democracy right now, it doesn't matter who you vote for. They're all run by and owned by the same people. It's just an illusion. If voting actually made a difference, they wouldn't let you do it. We're currently in a situation where every option is just bad. It's at the point now where you're going to have to fight your way out of this. The game is rigged. Every single political party, every single politician, whether you think they're a hero or your enemy, is controlled. They're playing a role. They're just actors. They're just meat puppets for those in charge. It does not matter. You can't vote your way out of this.
The winds of war have never howled louder than they do now.
But tonight, it's late at night, Israel is in a fight for their lives. Our friends in Israel are surrounded by people who would kill them all if they could. I am tired of the word genocide. Let me tell you about genocide. If Israel wanted to commit genocide, they could. They have the capability to do that. They choose not to. Hamas, they would commit genocide in 30 seconds. They just can't. And that's the big difference, folks. To people in my party, I'm tired of this crap. Israel is our friend. They're the most reliable friend we have in the Mideast. This is not a hard choice if you're an American. It's not a hard choice if you're a Christian. A word of warning. If America pulls the plug on Israel, God will pull the plug on us. And we're not going to let that happen. Israel is not the bad guy. They're the good guy. The bad guys are the radical Islamists who would kill everybody in this room if they could.
You could tell that there is something on the wings in the horizon, as we told everybody here with this incredible audience that Forseti shared that piece of information that, number one, all police precincts and politicians of importance signed NDAs from Starmer to not report who the assailants are or what kind of assailants are. And if you want to know what kind of assailants are, I'll give you a hint. It's the food delivery people all over England. In the food service sector, they're all taken over. That's number one. Number two, and if we can close on this too and expand, but it's the fact that for the past couple of months now, there have been briefings and secret meetings that are all regarding the upcoming civil war.
It's going to be a race war. That's what it's going to boil down to. The current government, they want it to happen. They want this conflict to happen. They've got their own reasons why they want it to happen, but they want it to happen. They're mass importing it because they want the civil race war. They want it to happen. It's going to happen. And they're going to keep doing what they can to make it happen. There's nothing you can do about it. It's coming. So you got to be ready for it.
Well, thank you, Forseti. That was a really positive closer there. Amazing stuff, isn't it? Amazing stuff happening in our lifetime. And it's this guy right here, 150,000 migrants. I apologize. I said 100,000 earlier. It's just incredible. Let's now get to a few of the pressing issues there, the pressing and oppressing stories now. Let's get to some late night update headlines that you need to know about here. Let's just get to it here. Well, you might have heard it right there. Yeah. Whoops. The British government lost track of 150,000 migrants. Don't you hate when that happens? I sure do. And happens quite often now. Quite sinister, but losing track, what does that entail? Well, the British government finally admitted what we already knew this entire time. It admitted that it had no idea whether over 150,000 legal migrants who entered the country on social care visas are still in the UK or not. We don't know. It's like, it's just like losing a pair of keys. They just go missing and nobody is held accountable for it. But let me tell you a bit more now. Well, the significant cohort of the so-called Boris wave of migrants that flooded the country following the post-Brexit immigration reforms under the Prime Minister Boris the Bojo Johnson was entirely unaccounted for. So they're now admitting something that took place roughly 4 to 5 years ago that they don't know where they went. Who recalls when England was trying to sell the Adopt a Ukrainian? Who remembers that campaign? I mean, we've seen, the term hard sell is just totally being redefined now. Well, they're saying that's unaccounted for, but even more so the ones that are now coming here today. Yeah, what am I talking about? And how are they coming into England? It's quite it's quite dastardly. They're now coming through boats. You've seen the boats. You see a lot of the benefits going away. About 1.2 million migrants in the UK are on social benefits. That is absolutely diabolical, and that person is absolutely right. Yeah, it is diabolical. And what are they doing to curb the wave of crime that comes with this? Well, they're now sending, you can't make this up, they're sending female bobbies, the female police officers, to go jogging and monitor the migrants who might be trying to eat the swans, the ducks, the pigeons, your firstborn at this case. But, if you have bobbies literally that are jogging around the parks to monitor things that are female, we should be okay.
These women aren't friends out for a run. They're actually undercover police officers taking to the streets in Surrey as part of a new operation trying to stop people catcalling and harassing female runners.
We get honked at, the staring, the hanging out of the window just to look at us, and it's so prevalent.
And police teams are ready to intervene the moment the officers are beeped at, followed or shouted at, pulling people over.
Those kind of behaviours may not be criminal offences in themselves, but they still need to be addressed. And of course, the people that are likely to commit those kind of behaviours, you know, they may then go on to commit more serious offences or more serious behaviours.
There he is. This guy right here, excuse me, this man right here. Yeah, he's responsible for it because he's a card-carrying communist, as you heard first. And second, there he is right there. There's a card-carrying communist, and it all makes sense. It all makes sense. But just when you thought the virtue signaling was done there, no, it's not. Well, first of all, in the hotels, just like we saw in the United States, they're putting hundreds of thousands of migrants in vacant all over the. Here it is. Tell us how it is.
What's on the menu? Hash browns, beans, hash browns, salad, eggs.
If you fancy having 10 eggs for your breakfast, take 10 eggs.
What's on the menu? Hash browns, beans, hash browns, salad, eggs, tomatoes, lovely. A lunch menu. Curry, yes, chips, as said.
Yeah, you get the bee's knees from this guy right there. But wait, there's more. There's more. They're now having UK school children write letters of love letters to the migrants, welcoming them into the country, and have right at it. You can't make this up. And this is a very concerned parent, I believe, who has witnessed the unwitnessable. And he's going to tell you how it is, because it's now coming. In Canada, prepare yourselves. In Australia, I'm sure you're already there.
1,200 schools are currently teaching children as young as 5 years old to write love letters, Valentine's Day cards, and make pledges to migrants in the UK. City of Sanctuary UK is the charity that's running this. These schools are teaching little girls and boys to essentially build a relationship with these foreigners. This simply cannot go on. We cannot sit by and allow our children to be brainwashed into this. Why would any charity, any school, any governing body, why would any teacher and why would any government allow and facilitate underage girls and boys to be told to write a love letter to any adult? Never mind illegal men who have arrived here with no documentation. No child should ever be encouraged to write any sort of love letter or pledge themselves to any adult ever. Do you think it's right for little 5-year-old Sophie to be, and I quote, making pledges based in love and acceptance of a 34-year-old Afghan male? An Afghan male that by the Home Office's own statistics is up to 24 times more likely to commit a violent sexual act against women and children. What does it teach our little girls and boys, and what does it teach these men? Would you be willing to keep your children off school until all of these schools cease to participate in these abhorrent acts? Because that's what I think we should be calling for. I will be compiling the list of all of the schools that are participating into this institutionalized grooming of children, and I will publish it once it's ready. We then need to get a plan in place to hold a nationwide protest where we keep our children off school until this is fixed, because if we don't fix this and we don't fix it fast, our children, our daughters, our granddaughters, they will grow up believing that this is normal, that they should be offering themselves to these men unconditionally, and these men will think that a child giving them love is acceptable here in the UK, because that's what we're teaching people, that's what we're saying by allowing this to happen, and this should not be happening ever. So will you support a nationwide push to keep our children home until this is fixed? Let me know in the comments, and my team and I will come up with a plan. I promise you that. We are Great Britain. Thank you very much.
Pretty stunning stuff, isn't it? Pretty stunning that this is happening. This is happening in a Western modernized world, or what was the country of England, and it's getting worse. And where are they putting them? Well, we know they're coming in boats. In fact, they're coming through the boats. by the thousands, by the day, and they're allowed in. They're given just life rafts, life vest, free, bangers and mash by the hour now, flooding the streets of England from top up to top down. And wait, that's not all. Just like the U.S., when we've seen it all before, it's the same communistic plan from a global corporate level, while they're then getting the Ritz-Carlton treatment, as you saw, with the buffets and the smorgasbords, while they're given free hotels and living and accustomed to everything. Just make your way in.
Oh, yeah. You do know you're supposed to cover your face with a badge on, yeah? You're supposed to keep your face, yeah? You're supposed to keep your face. Don't fucking touch us, lad. Don't touch, bro. You know the score. If you pass the test, you should know the score, shouldn't you? And take that mask off your face, bro. Take that mask off your face so we can see you are.
Speak English?
Yeah? Right, well, you do know to hold them cards, yeah? You do know that you're supposed to have your face shown at all times, don't you? No.
You're supposed to be visible to the public at all times.
You're supposed to be visible to the public at all times. Why have you got balaclava on in England?
I don't know you.
Eh?
It's 30 degrees out there, mate.
30 degrees, bro.
I know where, mate. I'll go just exposing you.
Who's that?
Come on, guys. Go on. Where's he from? Ask him where he's from.
Whereabouts are you from, pal?
What country are you from, mate?
Yo. Don't touch me.
Don't touch me. Don't touch me. Get out, man. Don't touch me.
Whoa, don't touch my phone, bro. For fuck's sake, mate. Don't touch.
Don't touch me.
You know the one. Don't touch, lad.
Don't touch me.
Don't touch. You don't touch. No, you don't touch. You're racist. You're racist. No, you're touching me. I'm not touching you. You're touching me. And this is what they bought into. Just imagine when I was in England 12 years ago, just the mere slightly accidentally bumping into a person of color, well, they were given the free rite of passage to just scream racism, and then it just bled into really the socialist class of London, and it just trickled out, and everyone bought into this. It was in the same mechanism of how they got rid of their guns. So they're now given free hotels, they're given free everything, healthcare. And the people that need it in England, they don't get it. They don't get it. Yeah, so there you have it. Now, what does this all mean here? You saw them on the boats. And let me just play, I just played the hotel one. Here, just one more here.
So there's no arrest of this old lady here. Look.
What you saw there, it angers me to see that. I just wanted to recap that. And that's just an old lady who's 90 years old, 90 years of age. Can you imagine 90 years of age, put a post on social media and was arrested for it, was totally arrested for it. Before they take my sound off and take this entire show off, yeah, she was arrested for it. So they're not stopping. And this is what the communism of today looks like, which now brings us to this. Let's talk about the replacement theory. Yes, we need to talk about it now. What is the replacement theory? It's not a conspiracy theory by any means, and it's not a theory of hate or a theory of somebody who is anti anyone of color, because that's how you look these terms up, and you're just going to see a plethora of bought and paid for articles to tell you, well, it's not true, it's not happening, it's evil, it's racist, and damn you. That's how the system works here. But let me talk about this now, because I have heard about the replacement theory, but really I heard about something else I'll tell you about in a second. But this is what it is. It's known as the Great Replacement Theory, also known as the theory of the Great Replacement, which is just a play on words. And that's how they get you to think. Well, they're calling a white nationalist far-right conspiracy theory espoused by a French author named Renard Camus. The original theory states that with the complicity of cooperation of replaces elites, the ethnic French and white European populations at large now are being demographically and culturally replaced by the non-white peoples, especially from Muslim majority countries, through mass migration demographic growth and drop in the birth rate of white Europeans. I mean, isn't that just what we saw? So we saw that with our own eyes, and in the same Orwellian fashion, they're turning around and saying, "Oh no, you didn't see that. That's not what's happening." In fact, just have your daughter write a love letter to Mahmoud Abdul-Jabbar, if you don't mind. Yes, because we're the British. We are the most up-kept, non-racist elites from the city of London. You see, this is the thinking here. Get away from me, you white cockroach. And then continuing here. Now, I remember the original replacement theory that has now been updated to what we know now, as you just heard, but it's also known as the Great Kalergi Plan. Yes, the Great Kalergi Plan of the 1920s, the Roaring 20s, and the early 20th century. Yes, where some buildings in England are a lot older than that. Well, the Kalergi Plan, sometimes called the Kondunev-Kalergi Conspiracy, is a debunked far-right, anti-Semitic. That's the key word there. By the way, go do a little Kalergi Plan in your local search, and look at the Snopes-like articles that will come with it. It's incredible. It's amazing, and it's one of the oldest plans in the book today. Unbelievable. Continuing now. Well, they're saying it's debunked. It's about the white genocide conspiracy theory. The theory claims that the Austrian-Japanese politician, we don't need to get in the history of it, their history of it. Basically, I'll tell you what it is. While they say it's anti-Semitic, it's because it's a Bolshevik Zionist plan. Because the Zionists never liked Europeans. They thought of them as dogs. It's a Zionist plan to flood the West, flood the first world cities with the third world, to burden the cities, erase the culture, erase the identity and the racial makeup of all the European cities. It's now coming to America. And then take it over as in a consolidation form and manner to then create the one world government. And you know what's interesting is if you didn't know that, or where it originated from, and you just heard, oh, it's a bunch of third world people are coming over. Nobody's thinking, oh, that's so anti-Semitic. But the fact that Wikipedia, which is ran by Zionists, admitted, is now saying that openly, that should tell you, no, it is exactly authored by the Bolsheviks, who we are fighting today, and that's who Starmer, the Prime Minister of the UK, that's exactly who he is. That's exactly who he is. That's exactly what we're fighting. So on one end, and this is how it's going to go here. To sum it all up here, and maybe a bit more here. Why is this happening now? Well, as you heard Miss Lindsey Graham say, well, we better not pull the plug on Israel, or else God's going to strike you with a lightning bolt. Why is that? Why are we seeing this happen now? It just so happens to be, and I had to look it up, that August 23rd is the end of the ceasefire agreement, the 60-day ceasefire agreement between Israel and Iran. Just think about that now. And roughly 10 days or more or less, depending, that is going to be the end of the ceasefire. Now, who is now vying more than ever and is chomping at the bit to get the United States and get England and get Canada and get Australia and the entire Commonwealth into a war with Iran? It's Benjamin Netanyahu. Some experts have said, well, December, maybe. No, he's not waiting, because the Zionists, the Bolsheviks who of the modern day who were fighting, if they don't strike now for the greater Israeli project, as you can plainly see right there, the historical and spiritual mission to build a greater Israel pretty much everywhere, disregarding your lawn, your yard, and everyone else's in annexed Palestinians. Yes, they're going for it. They want to take over Gaza. They want to exterminate. You see the hostility and the brainwashing of the citizens in that country. So, isn't it just a great coincidence now that there is this onslaught of the third world, scary, state-sponsored Muslim Brotherhood types? Military-age men coming into England, raping and pillaging everyone. No, that this is by design, because this will create the movement, the energy, the anger, the hostility that the government of the West needs from their people to justify a war with Iran. So Starmer, who is, like we said in the interview, who is, as we told you a long time ago, has got the police precincts. And by the way, you can adopt everything that I'm telling you and adopt it and place it into your country, into your so-called liberal cities, because it all starts in England and then it just trickles everywhere. But Starmer, who on one end is providing relief and aid, just like Canada, for the Palestinians. And remember what we told you, it's to appease their base. But at the same time now, you have the invasion. They're welcoming it because this gives them the communist manifesto, just points they need to go for the World War III, to go for Albert Pike's great prediction. And this is it. This is the moment they need. So this is all state-sponsored, just like it was here in the United States. In the United States, the crime was running rampant. And now that's going to bring us the social crediting scores of the digital ID, of the Palantards, excuse me. And the same will be applied in England as well. And at that same time, we now have naval vessels alongside the UK and their military over there in the southeast China Sea over there. As Forseti, who we didn't even get a chance to get to it, but yeah, the big fight is also in Africa. But yeah, this is the fight right here. And, you know, I remember just like yesterday reporting on the UK military generals and the Treasury Department over there saying, well, we have to increase our military budget GDP by an incredible 5%, if not more. Well, just in case there might be a war in the future. Probably not. We don't know. There might be, there could be. And, you know, what do we know? We just lost 150,000 migrants that are just trying to break into your window. So you can see how that one goes as I keep getting turned off here as it's just not my day in the sun. Now, another thing, too, I don't know how much I want to get into it as, and I see this coming in the United States, too, is it's, and everybody's going to be for it because if you're against it, then you look like a big old creeper. But there is a effort now to have age verification for anybody that wants to access a porn site. I'm dead serious here, and there's a reason for this season here. Let me show you this. Look at this here, and I'm going to explain why this is significant to our escapades here tonight. Yeah, here it is. Porn site traffic plummets, and everybody claps. So yeah, right. Porn site traffic plummets as UK age verification rules enforced. Now, this is already happening stateside. It's happening in the Bible Belt. It's happening in very suburban areas, little by little by little. And you may say to yourself, well, you know, what's the big idea? You know, why should we care? Because what this does now, this is now getting into the behavior management overseers. So when people clap for this, yes, please, we don't want this filth in. Then that gives predication to then add it to another one, to add it to another category online, as they want to know who is online. They want to know what you're looking at and what you're reading. And they already do that with YouTube and Facebook. So everything's being tracked because they want to know where the uprisings are going to be around the world in your neck of the woods so they can put an end to it. They can infiltrate it like a J6 type of manner. and stop it and squash it from happening. That's truly what they're doing. They want to know where the demographics are, just like when you buy when you buy clothes, for instance, at Walmart, where I just shop all the time, can you tell? Is they have the spy chips in them. They started doing this well over 15 years ago, and it's now continuing, and the same applies now. So it starts with the porn, just like the tax on this, they tax the cigarettes first, then they tax the soda, then they tax other things. But so it starts on the porn, and then it's going to go to news sites that may not be trusted. So you got to enter your ID. They want to know who you are, what you're saying. Then it's going to go into more and more, cryptic apps. If you have the app Signal, it's not allowed in England. They're trying to ban that. It's already banned throughout the European Union, for that fact, and on and on and on. But all this is now leading up, in closing here, before I get taken off, literally. All this is leading up to World War III, and really, to be more poignant, the war with Iran. And you're going to see an escalation of invasions. You're going to see the propaganda, and they're going to allow the very dangerous military-age men just have their way until public outcry is attack Iran. This is a Zionist plan. Don't be fooled. Don't second guess yourself of what exactly is happening now. And that's why they want to curb our speech here in the US from even saying that term. And I always thought it was weird how they were saying all these new anti-Semitic laws were just coming down the pikeway, and nobody was even talking about any of this, but they preemptively did it because they knew the Greater Israel Project was going to require a greater war. And that's where this is all leading to. And that's where we're going to leave it here before I get taken off. I want to thank my guest and our wonderful insider who has been with us for 5 years, part of a wonderful castmate he's been over the years. But Forseti, we want to thank him. And I want to thank all of you for this late night update and putting up with our tardiness, as the techno gremlins of the world are really the true invasions that we don't see. So until next time, thank you for sharing a bit of your late night here with me. I'm Dean Ryan, and I will see you very soon. And people of England, prepare, beware.